Welcome to the Goddess Conference Conversations. In this space, we will connect with interesting personalities, presenters and artists from our international community and chat about the upcoming conference's topics and themes.
Welcome everybody to the Goddess Conference Conversations, and we're very happy to have the wonderful Brooke Madison Eagle here. I'm going to ask her to introduce herself, but we're so happy that she is coming back to this year's conference to talk about a very specific topic, which I will ask her to talk about as well. So over to you, Brooke. Could you maybe give a little bit of an introduction for people who don't know you?
All right. So wonderful to be here. And I'm very excited, as always, about coming to the conference this late July and August. And I think it's a wonderful theme for this year. And I come out of an indigenous background. I was raised in Montana in the United States on the Crow Reservation. My family are both part Indian, and we lived on my dad's original Indian allotment there in Montana on a ranch and in the backcountry. So it's really been interesting to come out into the world. And over my lifetime, not so much as a child because we lived isolated on our ranch, but as I have stepped out more into the world, it's been very important to me to learn and carry the indigenous wisdom. And there's so much of it around. You know, I've been teaching about the Menarche and the awakening of the feminine for, I think, 30 years on the road. Yeah. And now more and more people are waking up to the red tent and other things. But the indigenous way has always had a lot of information about that. And some information I find that red tent teachers and others don't have about the spiritual side and the service side of our moon times. So I'm very excited to be offering, some things about the initiation practice for young women in the indigenous way, and something that I think is vitally important for us in the modern world, because so many women ended up with not getting any honoring, or even getting it denigrated, or, oh, it's terrible and bad when you have your first blood. And it's so different. It was one of 𝗫𝗆𝗵𝗆𝗃 woman's sacred rights to honor the young woman, and to realize that without that young woman and her blood and her ability to bring forth life, there would be no life, there would be no tribe. And so there was an incredibly beautiful honoring in that way. And I think when a woman begins her life that way, begins her life as a woman, at her menarche, in her puberty years, I just think it sets a whole different tone and gives a different kind of confidence and an understanding. And part of what I work with too is that, in the beginning of all things was the great womb, the dark void that's spoken of in many of the spiritual traditions around creation. That dark void is the womb of the feminine, and out of that poured forth life. So I think as we know more about those things, it's like, oh, yes, we can stand up and be proud of ourselves and walk forward in a really good way.
Yes, and it's interesting that because you're working with the Menarche, and of course, about 5 years ago, we were in another cycle of the Maiden, and we worked very closely with that first blood, with the Menarche. This time we work with healing, but we also have as theme, as the archetypical theme, we have the Maiden. So it is a beautiful mixture of both the Maiden energy coming into woman and the healing, because there is quite a lot of healing to be done towards, well, not just Menarche, but everything to do with the blood mysteries, really.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's beautiful that you offer that.
I want to share some things about healing too. On my computer, my head is cut off. Am I looking okay on yours?
Yes, you're fine.
I mean, I'm okay with my head being cut off. I guess the heart is what counts. But so healing is something interesting as well. And the way that I think of healing is, in English, it's wonderful because healing health, wholeness,
Mm.
holiness, all come from the same term,
Yeah.
from the same root, I guess I would want to say. And for me, we can't heal anything unless we're connected and one with things, whole within ourselves. And that's why it's so important for the Menarche, practice and the moon time practices, so that we really feel whole as women. And then for our larger healing and the healing of the planet, we really need to be connected. And one of the challenges I think we have in the modern world, and certainly after the past few years of the terrible, awful damage that's been done to our connectedness, that separation is really, really the opposite of what we need. We need now to find that deep connection with each other and with our own bodies and with all of life on the planet, so that we, when we're connected, when we're bonded with things, then we love and take care of them. And we really must, as a human family now, turn strict and immediate and vital attention to taking care of healing the earth, healing the things we've damaged on the earth.
Yes. So yeah, that's quite a few themes there. It's like you have the Menarche, which is coming back to the sacredness of life and the sacredness of the blood. And I think that is very much part of that connectiveness, because all these things that were very natural, all these practices and all these beliefs that were very part of just our human nature, but as a human part of the bigger family of nature, that's all been damaged, that's all been separated, as you say. So I think there's a beautiful interwovenness of the what you are going to talk about with the Menarche, and going to work in your workshop as well, and the bigger picture of even climate change.
Yes. Yeah. And I just really feel that we were given a paradise. And some of the work I'm doing now, I call restoring paradise, where we're really, some of the healing that we're being asked to do, and I think females are so powerful with this, is to do ceremony, to honor the earth, to honor all our relations, to pray for, and be spiritually active as well as physically, an activist, to take care of things and do the work that we came to do. And I always think of the feminine as nurturing, well, in the Cheyenne way that I was taught when I was young. The feminine, they had a beautiful lodge, a sacred lodge that was the lodge of the feminine. And it was about the birthing, nurturing, and renewing of life. And so really that's what we need.
Yes.
That's exactly what we need on the earth now. So it feels really important. And I'm so honor you all for, for supporting this sense of the feminine and the spiritual and the priestesshoods, because part of what I will talk about in the the workshop that I want to offer, and the other work, is that there was a natural building, a natural support and building of basically priestesses. We didn't call them that.
Yeah, no.
They were spiritual women, naturally built, and every woman was given that practice. Of course, some became, spiritual medicine women, and, as always, there are some that have that calling. But every woman was trained in spirit and trained to use her menstrual time to serve the world, not only to be healthy and vital and alive and confident and capable herself, but also to go deeply into the feminine source of life and bring forth what serves the world, to birth into the world what's needed. So it's really deep and beautiful and exciting to work with the feminine in this way.
Yes. Yeah. So, and I was just wondering, because we have, the theme is the goddess of healing. So you already mentioned goddess as the great womb of creation, the dark womb, the dark void of creation. So how do you see the relationship through Menarche for younger women, especially with the goddess of healing? How do they is that a natural, how do you see that? How is the relationship with goddess? And yeah, because I think the young women have a beautiful chance to have that natural sacred blood as a relationship, but there's a lot of wounding there as well. So how could the healing happen there through goddess?
Yeah, you know, one of the things that is happening, thank heaven, is that we of our age are healing and understanding. And I think one of the real challenges is in the modern world now that a lot of young women, you know, are moving away from honoring the blood. Some of them are actually taking some kind of pill or shot, I don't know what it is, that stops their bleeding. And so, you know, for us in our generation and our goddess work, our sacred work, to really honor that in our own lives and model that, then perhaps we can create more and more healing for these young women and have them understand as they begin life, you know, as they begin their life as a woman, that they have tremendous healing power. And that healing power doesn't come from sort of the masculine, the mind, the, you know, figuring things out, getting out there and pushing, shoving around. It comes from that deep heart and the womb of creation. And so I think there can be a real healing of, you know, many generations of challenge as we work with the young women that are coming forth today.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I sometimes feel like there's a shift happening, but that could be just my perspective, that, you know, goddess is seen and felt much more and more. But then, you know, you look at the big cities and, you know, women are, you know, more in careers and making promotions and are kind of driven into that place that they can't really have time for their own bodies and the sacred rites. They just have to go into that treadmill. So I see this kind of imbalance between, on one hand, goddess is definitely on the rise. I think that is, you see that there's more books about it, more workshops, more trainings. But on the other hand, there's also like almost like a more fastening of life that especially professional women who are in business get more enthralled into and not have time to really listen to the natural cycles.
You know, and when I work with women, I say, gosh, I wish I had a magic pill, you know, that we could all take or give to all the corporate leaders or something, you know, to have it happen very quickly and easily. So I try to help women understand how they can, you know, just take a bit of time and really, in a sense, that change of attitude and really getting how important it is. And one of the things that's happening, even in some corporate places, and I know Iceland and other places are leading the way in realizing that studies, very clear research studies show that when women honor even one day off to honor, not to be sick, not anything like that, but to honor and care for themselves, you know, their health, their happiness, and good old productivity goes up. So, you know, it just makes sense. But to get that word out there and to have people understand is really the challenge. And I would love to do more speaking to corporate leaders who are women, because, you know, we have many, many women who are in high positions.
Yes.
And so like that's one of the things we could do, is to reach more of those women and help them understand that when they're women, not only have some time off, but also, in a sense, the healing, the wholeness of working together as women, that also supports women's energy, women's productivity, women's creativity, and brings about a healing of the separation between us and the competition and the putting down of other women and all of that, that really needs to be healed as well. And the thing is that all of this works. It's not like you do something like this and it's going to damage something. It's going to damage your work. It's going to uplift your life and your work. So but getting the word across is not.
There's still a lot to do, really, but that's great. I mean, you know, it's great that we're doing it, and I think it's as I said, it's really lovely that that you are coming again and sharing that, and I hope that a lot of young people, young women, really listen to the messages that we as older women now bring. So, and that is, yeah, that the healing is given through to the younger generation.
Well, I certainly want to very specifically invite a lot of you younger women to come. I know sometimes it's hard to get time off when you're a working woman and have children, you know, to get time off to come to these things, but it's you that I would love to talk with, because I feel like I could make your life easier. I know there are things that I will suggest doing, but that I could make your life easier and happier and healthier in the long run, which supports you and supports your family and your work. So I definitely want to invite you, and lovely to have everyone. So
yes, and I think it's also for all people to hear about this menarche and the sacredness, you know, because there will be maybe future fathers who have you know, their daughters. And I remember with when my daughter got a menarche, my then husband gave her a beautiful rose, and even that's just a small, it's just a small gesture that a man can do, but it's such an honoring. And I think the education is really for all people to understand this sacredness and this connectiveness that yeah, that is very important to keep sacred.
Well, I've wanted to do this for a long time, and finally I'm getting the opportunity to work with groups of men. They're usually relatively awake and conscious guys, but many of them are working, you know, trying to be better men, and they're really interested. And when I first taught, I literally teach them about menarche and about the moon blood and all of these. I mean, I just teach them the whole thing. I was like, oh boy, here we go. And they were like, really? Oh my gosh. And they were so interested and so glad to know, so that they could be better men, you know, they could be better fathers, better husbands, and just better humans in general, knowing this kind of thing.
Yes, and again, you know, if this is not a taboo, but something that is just easy to talk about, like not like something that, oh, we have to say we have a menarche. So I like that, but actually no, yeah, no, I have my moon time, so I need to take some time off, and everybody understands it would just make life generally much easier and healthier. Yeah, thank you.
Well, I definitely, one of the things I say to women is that once they have this knowledge, it's really, really important to share it with their family.
Yes.
Just make it some of the natural learning and the natural sense of, hey, when that, you know, when that time comes, that's time. I'm on 24/7 most of the rest of the time, gang. But during that time, it's really, really important that you honor me and help me to be well, so that I can always be here for you, that I don't lose my health and wellness. As seems to be happening a lot. You know, women are under a lot of stress right now. So anything we can do to help with that is another kind of healing that we can do to help women find that ability to touch, even for moments of their day, into that deep, quiet space of not needing to do anything.
Yeah. And
just being present. So anyway, lots of wonderful things to share, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. And now I was wondering if at the end for this short conversation, and hopefully it will invite a lot of people to hear more and to work with you at the conference. But I wonder if you could give a healing blessing to all the people who are listening to us now.
Yes. So just take that nice deep breath. Close your eyes if you'd like, and just relax, and just remember that the feminine is about opening and softening. It's not weak, but it takes that strength. It's like a bowl. If a bowl is weak, it doesn't hold water. It crumbles. So there's this wonderful, wonderful sense of being a bowl, of being an openness, of being, I sometimes hold my arms in the air like to make that sign of a bowl, that we're active. And so just let yourself settle into that beautiful bowl, in a sense, that is the womb of the Great Mother, the womb of the feminine, the womb of the Mother Earth herself. And just be aware of the opportunity to take some nice deep breaths, to breathe down deep as though you can breathe right down, 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 down into the deepest part of yourself. And so, Great Mother, White Buffalo Woman, all of the goddesses who attend us on this day, we want to say thank you and find the gratefulness in our hearts and ask for a special blessing. And that blessing would be of support, of nurturance, of just that moment in time to breathe, to stop, to quiet, to listen, to be still. Help us find that place even in our busy days, so that we can touch the incredible power of the deep feminine that serves us in our life, and as well through its peace and beauty and nurturing, helps support the life around us as well. I'm going to sing a women's healing song here. This comes from my Indigenous grandmothers, and I sing it for you. 𝗷𝗵𝗆, 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 𝗷𝗵𝗆. 𝗁𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 𝗓𝗏𝗓𝗏. Blessed be. We do this for all our relations.
Blessed be. And thank you so much. Thank you, Brooke, for making time to speak with us, and really looking forward to seeing you this summer here in Avalon, in Glastonbury.
Yes.
And I wish you a good time until then.
All right. Bye, everyone. See you then.
Bye.
This interview was conducted by Marion Brigantia.
Join us this year for the 29th Glastonbury Goddess Conference, a joyful gathering of goddess-loving people, a 6-day in-person event in Glastonbury, Avalon, running from Tuesday 30th of July to Sunday 4th of August 2024, with the Fringe event starting from Sunday 28th of July. This year the theme is the Goddess of Healing. It's our maiden year, the first of a new 5-year cycle. International presenters, transformative workshops and experiences, deep ceremonies on the sacred land of Avalon, community, art, fun and love for Goddess. Let your healing journey begin this year. Join us for the Glastonbury Goddess Conference, Goddess of Healing. There are so many options to participate. Full conference tickets, weekend tickets, day tickets. Find what suits you best and get your ticket now at 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Blessed be.